Recent reports have shown a steady national decline in the donations received by U.S. nonprofit organizations. The decline began with the financial crisis in 2008 and has continued ever since. According to Nonprofit and Voluntary Sector Quarterly, data supports that the nonprofit sector makes up the greatest portion of individual and family services, vocational rehabilitation, and residential care facilities in our country. Not only have private donations decreased, but government funding for social services has also been cut over the past few years. With donations declining due to our current economic state, nonprofit organizations have been forced to get creative in order to make up for the deficit. Such creativity has involved soliciting donations other than cash and coming up with creative ways to obtain them. If we ignore this issue and donations continue to decline, what will become of our country without the services provided from nonprofit organizations? The idea for Changemakers Off the Clock came out of this current need, and the goal is to assist nonprofit organizations that serve our communities with their current needs. After being exposed to all of the reading and multimedia pieces presented in this course, I began to think about ways to create a new type of group that addressed and linked the community void that so many are fulfilling through online social networking and the needs of nonprofit organizations that serve vulnerable populations in my community. I wanted to create a group that was technology enhanced, which is essential in keeping up with our current knowledge-based society. However, I also wanted to avoid creating a technology-dependent group that did not interact beyond the internet. I wanted to utilize technology without replacing human interaction and relationships. The quest to find a balance between technology and humanity in order to create an online community advocacy project resulted in Changemakers Off the Clock. The group is set up as a Facebook group that is made up of individuals considered to be changemakers in my local community. I define changemakers for the group as social workers, teachers, direct care providers, etc., and encourage members to invite others they believe fit into this classification as well. I also define changemakers as individuals that professionally give back to the community through social services. The online portion of the group serves as a medium of support, networking, communication, information sharing, and organizing for local, state, and national causes. The offline portion of the group involves getting together once every 3 months for a social activity such as bowling, volleyball, game night, a picnic at the park, as well as volunteer projects that give back to the community. Members are asked to bring one item such as deodorant, toothpaste, a piece of clothing, a can of food, or a kitchen item to each activity. Items will then be donated to a local nonprofit in need of donations. The activity, item, and nonprofit organization receiving the donation will change every 3 months. The administrator of the group will decide upon each based on suggestions from the group and requests from local agencies in our community. The group provides a continuous online option for social service providers in my community to communicate and organize for important causes. The group also offers social interaction offline that promotes human relationships while simultaneously giving back to the community. In order to measure the group's effectiveness as an on- and offline advocacy group that addresses current issues, specifically in regards to the severe decline in nonprofit donations, I will be evaluating the group's reach and influence. To measure the group's reach, I will look at the number of members and average membership growth as well. Measuring influence will be based on the completion of the 4 annual events, the number of members in attendance, the amount of donations collected for local nonprofit organizations, and the number of other issues addressed from membership interactions. Thus far, the group has 36 members and 4 administrators, including myself. The planning team will be meeting this week in order to plan our first activity, as well as select the donation and receiving nonprofit organization. Members have been encouraged to offer ideas and suggestions for these decisions as well as join the planning team if they are interested. My hope is that this group will be simple, drama-free, and effective in providing social support to changemakers in my community. However, with all groups comes conflict, but as long as the conflict promotes learning, growth, and positive change, we can work through it. Struggles thus far have included getting the planning team together to plan the first activity and getting members to invite their friends to the group. I understand that currently there are so many groups on Facebook that some are hesitant to join another group that will be messaging them. However, I hope that the members that are interested and do take it seriously are enough to sustain and promote the group. I did have one member invite 2 of her friends that she believed were change makers, and I was excited when I saw this on the group page. Someone also left the group, which was somewhat disappointing, but I had to step back and realize that everyone should have a choice to participate or not, and that I myself have also unsubscribed to groups I felt were not a high priority for me in order to reduce the number of messages and emails I receive. Not only do people get a message on the original site, but also as mentioned in advocacy, activism, and the internet, people now receive their email, tweets, and comments on their phones, which keeps them permanently logged in. As convenient as it is to be so connected through technology, it can also at times be overwhelming and distracting from real-life events and relationships. Therefore, I understand why someone needs to pick and choose what they are involved with in order to maintain the balance previously mentioned between technology and humanity. Overall, I hope that Changemakers Off the Clock can serve as an outlet for people making a difference in my community, both on and offline. The group should be a source of support, organization, and connection for individuals in my community. From the group's interaction should come growth, knowledge, support, and giving back to the agencies that serve so many people in need. If you have any questions or would like to start a similar group in your own community, feel free to email me at whitneyhdavis@gmail.com. Thank you.